sit in some traffic?
Oh yeah.
You turn that on?
Yeah, it's on.
That light hasn't changed since we decided to do this. Well, we're going to go out for a little quick test drive. It's the heat of the day in the Shaggin Wagon. It's what, 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the afternoon, probably. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. See what the temperature's going to do on the car. Double check the brakes again. Making a few last minute miles on it here before I take the seat out. Once I take the seat out to start working on redo the seat, I won't have it be able to drive it. So we're going to go run it down the highway a little bit, see what we got going on. We got the AC working. We'll turn it on here in just a minute. See how that's going to do in traffic. May have to get us a set of headphones for 3,000 miles worth of driving. We'll see. So we're going to go do our little road trip here that we do, test driving deal. The exhaust is a little loud. It could get annoying, maybe. But this allows me to check on engine temperature, stopping and going with these turbos, so I know how it's going to act in the traffic, because I'm sure when we get to the power tour, 3,000, 5,000, 6,000 cars, there's going to be a lot of sitting and waiting and stop and go traffic. And I want to get a better feel of the characteristic of how this car and radiator is going to react, not having a lot of history with it and stuff. So we're sitting here as it should with the LS. It's running about 200, which is pretty good. It's got a radiator in it with dual electric fans from Church Boy Racing. So we'll see how that's going to react here in a minute. We got enough stop and go traffic. We're going to turn the AC on in just a second and see how that's going to affect it sitting in traffic. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and start rolling the windows up. We'll turn on a little AC. Got that going. Roll this last window up. It's a little quieter. Can you hear me now? That's what she said. But yeah, AC's starting to cool off already. It's got a lot to do. Got a big area and it's a small unit. I decided to go with this retro type unit just for the look of the car. I'm thinking about getting one of the old-fashioned salesman's curtain rod or clothes rod that hangs up from across the back of the car, and then I can maybe put a little clear plastic curtain there, keep all the AC up towards the front of the car when traveling. We'll see how that goes. That might look kind of rinky-dink, so we don't know if we're going to do that or not just yet, but it'd be kind of neat. Have it in there. It'd go along with the car being a station wagon. But yeah, see, we're sitting here in traffic, stop and go. Temperature right now staying consistent. We did move the transmission cooler out of the radiator, took the lines away from the radiator, put a separate cooler on it. So that should help, hopefully. I do still have to program the speedometer. I still haven't done that. Got to get that done. and drivability. Car goes straight down the road. Brakes feel like we finally got the dragging issue resolved. Gonna make some sun visors. I got some new clamps ordered. These were all busted and broke, so I got some new ones, and then I'll actually end up making the visor itself and whatnot. But we're traveling through the edge of Saxy and starting to hit Wiley, and then we'll get out here and get on the highway. And we still have a little bit of a drivetrain vibration. It looks like, feels like maybe, that's going to be more than likely in the dry shaft itself. It's a new dry shaft I put in there when I built the car, but good chance they just didn't get it balanced right. But it only happens about 60 miles an hour, but we need to get it taken care of, because we won't be running 60 mile an hour going down the highway. We're going to run as good as the law will allow, getting down there, listening to the music of the car, enjoying the ride. So pretty happy with the car all in all. We take it to lunch every now and then. The other day there was 5 or 6 of us. Ride's good with that many people in it. Didn't want to bottom out. Got the new wheels for the rear. Ordered, excuse me. We did order a set of 8-inch smoothie wheels, 8-inch wide. So that should give me a little bit wider footprint tire, and allows me to go to a tire that's almost 2 inches taller, which will help on the final gear ratio to the ground. Hopefully that will help on some of our mileage down the highway. I'm hoping to get, I'll be happy if we get 20 miles a gallon. Before we put the turbos on it, I was getting about 20 to 22 on the highway. And that's with 389 gears. So we'll see what it's going to like with the new tires, mile an hour wise, the new cruising speed. So you can sure hear those little turbos just a singing. And when we leave to go to the power tour, I'm going to leave on Saturday, which is the 21st. And there's I can't remember the name of the shop. There's a shop out of Waxahachie area. It's a husband and wife that do a YouTube channel. They've actually done one of these cars similar to this for a young kid on their show. And they do the power tour every year. I'm sure they do it for part of their channel, to record for their channel and stuff. So Chuck's going to try to get us in contact with each other, and if they're leaving around the same time period, then we will maybe try to work something out to do some traveling together. At least in case you have any accidents or mishaps on the side of the road, you got a little help type deal. I've seen their show once or twice, but I've never met the people. So it's just that time of day. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's just tons of traffic. Don't these people have a job? You'd think they's all out test driving cars. just kind of putting some miles on the car because we're fixing to do, what is it, 1,200 miles to the start of the power tour. And you know, we've done a lot to this car in kind of a short time. The suspension was already done from last year, but we've done so much to the actual engine drivetrain. We're just now putting miles on the new transmission. It shifts plenty great. Did an excellent job when we went to the track. We're kind of seeing what the engine temperature is going to do in the heat of the day, because we're going to have probably the hottest temperature here that I'll ever see on this trip. And we're running probably around 205, 210 right now with the air on, running 60, 65 mile an hour. There's some of the stuff we've done to the car. We've, of course, done the turbos for sure, Borg Warner turbos. It's got a Texas Speed camshaft package, which included not just the camshaft, but the valve springs and the push rods. And then I did the comp cam roller conversion on the rockers, and relapped all the valves, stock factory GM valves, factory heads. The bottom end is all stock. I didn't even check the bearings. I just brake cleaned it, put it all back together. It's got a Holley oil pan on it with one of their pickups to clear the front cross member. Let's see what else we have on here. We got some stuff from Motion Raceworks. Got one of their puke tanks, breather tanks, and little oil filter or oil adapter for hoses or for the fuel cylinder, stuff like that. We got the, naturally we've got the Church Boy Racing complete, pretty much everything they offer for this car. We have their new front modular front end with the tubular upper and lower A-arms, coilover shocks. It's got Viking shocks on it, double adjustable on the front. And then it's got the Church Boy Racing subframe connectors all welded in. Church Boy rear leaf spring package. It's got Ride Tech shocks on the rear, single adjustable shocks on the rear. We've got the Dakota Digital gauges. They look really great. The retro style gauge, doing an excellent job. Vintage Air AC, sand and AC compressor, part of the Vintage Air system. What else we got going on here? It's got Fragola hoses and fittings all over it. DEI, Design Engineering Incorporated. I've got their exhaust wrap, heat shield on the floor. Got their turbo bags. I call them bags. Turbo covers on the turbos. We did put earlier this week, we put a Doral remote transmission cooler behind the front bumper. We did a little small video on just installing it. Not so much a how-to, but just doing it. Cut the front license plate out area so it doesn't look too bad. What else we got on this thing? We got a quick performance 9-inch Ford rear end with drum brakes. 389 True Track ring and pinion. Got Willwood master cylinder, Willwood front brakes on it. It's got a American Auto wiring harness, complete body harness package on it. It's got the PSI conversions, engine harness, and ECU throttle pedal package for that motor. We're running just a stock plastic truck intake. It's going to create as much torque as any of them will for what we're doing. It's just a driver. And then it's got a Detroit Speed windshield wiper, their multi-speed windshield wiper on it. We did try running the Detroit Speed inner fenders, but they just took up way too much room. Had a little bit of clearance issues on some items. What else we got going on this thing? Trying to think. I'm sure there's going to be something else I forgot. Yeah. We got some of the stuff we bought for the cars come from H&H Classics out of Bentonville, Arkansas. They carry a very good variety of classic car parts, primarily GM related, C10 truck stuff, Nova stuff. They got Tri-Fi Chevy stuff, Tri-Fi Chevy pickup stuff. They've got plenty of that. So they got a pretty good selection of so much stuff. Give those guys a call. They pretty much have it in stock anytime you need it at a good, reasonable price on that. Same with any of the companies, all the brands that we do. And they're all companies that we're dealers for at Saxy Rod Shop. We use, try not to use anything on our customers' cars that we wouldn't put on our own personal car. So we're about here where we're going to do our turnaround, and we're still running about 200 on the temperature, maybe a little over. It's probably hard to tell. It's probably around 205, somewhere in that area. We'll get in here and do our little turnaround. This is where I usually turn around. This is in Farmersville, Texas now. About, what is it, about 15 miles, 20 miles?
Yeah, about 20.
About 20 miles from the shop. We'll let it sit here for a second and see what it's going to do with some of this traffic coming through, idling. And I think on the gauges, I can actually program the gauge to not only read the normal gauge reading, but have a digital readout also on temperature. I think we can get that. It's doing all right. It's not really climbing any. Now that the light turned red, oh, and we still have to change the tranny pan. We're going to go to a shallower, back to a truck pan. And the transmission was all done by Woods Racing Transmission. He's a friend of mine. He's been doing my dragster race car transmission for 10, 15 years. And we put everything in the transmission is from Sonax. So for what I'm going to do, and no harder than I'm going to really hit the car, it should live forever. That's the game plan. It's got a Circle D torque converter, also with a Rossler trans brake, but don't even have the trans brake wired up. Right now, it's not going to need it. And then we got some, if we have time, we will be putting some Caltrack bars on the rear suspension. But the rest of this week, I'm going to pull the front seat out, and I got the material. We're going to be refoaming, making foam, making a new seat cover, completely recovering the seat. Still going to kind of keep it traditional style. I bought some houndstooth. It's blue, the blue and black houndstooth. There's a little car right there. And then we're going to use the silver or metallic blue vinyl on the seat. And eventually we'll get all the seats done and get the door panels done. Redo the headliner. Actually have the inside looking pretty nice. We still got all the weather stripping to do. So the car is going to be kind of a neat little car when it's done. We've named it the Shaggin Wagon. one of the guys at the shop is going to do a patina paint job on it, on the car. And then we're going to load up, make us a road trip. Looking forward to it. Got phone charger in here. We took the cigarette lighter out, put in a little dual, goes right in place of the cigarette lighter. Dual USB charger. We got the alky control water mesh system in it. That's what this little is, adjustable, and indicator light tells us that it's actually activated. It's got power to it, and then we can prime it. The green button lets us know it's working. Need to probably check that level, fill that up before we go. And then we got I just ordered in some 8-inch smoothie steel wheels from a company called the Wheelsmith. 8-inch by 17, 17 by 8. And we just got some 245, 45 17s, some new tires for the back, give us a little taller rollout on the back. We still got to get that done. The wheels are at the sandblasters now. We're going to get them powder coated to match. And then I think that's all that we've got done on the car. Let's just enjoy the ride for a minute. You ready? Well, thanks for riding with us. Looks like everything's going to be good. Sitting in traffic, air on. I would say it was around 210 at the highest it got. AC did a good job. We're back at the shop. We're going to go in and finish off the day, and then tonight I'm going to start pulling the seat out and get busy on doing a seat cover. Thank you, and join us next week.